It's time for Cup of Rad, so let's fill your cup with rad pop culture vibes. And now your over-caffeinated hosts, Mike and Katie.
Welcome to the first ever Cup of Rad podcast. That's right, a rad place where you can fill your cup with some interesting pop culture things. I'd like to thank you for joining us. It's me, Mike, your host.
And Katie.
There you go. There's two of us here. Fantastic, isn't it? I'm Mike. I am a child of the late 80s, early 90s. I really enjoyed all those cartoons, those Saturday morning cartoons with the Disney Afternoon and the Batman the Animated Series and all that. And that really got me into the comics and dealing with all the superheroes and reading all those. And I loved action movies growing up. And eventually I found the horror movies. And I just became a real pop culture nerd. And as I went on, I ended up finding someone that I could share all that with, and that happened to become my wife. And after which will be now 14 years of marriage, we're starting our first ever podcast, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to share that with Katie, and there she is.
Hi, as Mike said, I really enjoy getting to share our different fandoms together. It's been a great thing as we're best friends, and we spent a lot of time together getting to know each other all and finding all the new things that I didn't necessarily grow up with. I'm an early 90s kid who grew up on the Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. And from there, I didn't really know comics when I was younger, but then I really got into the different characters when I met him. And we started watching
Justice League,
Batman animated, He-Man, the newer one. Really started to enjoy those together as a way to...
Well, that's how you found Wonder Woman and Flash.
Yeah, those became my favorite characters from Justice League. I love the Flash from the Justice League.
Michael Rosenbaum
is the voice of the Flash for me.
He's Wally West.
And definitely Wally West is my favorite Flash. I started reading the graphic novels based on that.
I moved into the comics.
Yeah.
All the long boxes.
I have so many long boxes of the intense collection for Flash comics.
Right.
And then the Wonder Woman
Harley
as well. And Harley.
And Catwoman.
Yeah. Now you make me want to go look at my long boxes of comics.
Uh-oh.
I haven't seen them forever. Okay, now that I've got off on a complete tangent.
Whoopsie.
Long story short here, found to really enjoy a lot of these fandoms together, but then I hit adulthood and decided that both of us kind of needed to pretend we were some fancy facade grown up.
Yeah, we wanted to get away from...
Yeah, we had our son and felt like we had to be some model type of parent. And it wasn't great. And so about 6 years ago, we both found our way back to enjoying and embracing.
Yeah, when we were able to really take those fandoms and add them with our son.
Yeah, so we
finding
really
the cartoons,
new things, a stronger bond together, and I'm so happy that I found my way back to that.
Yeah, finally got her to watch horror movies, which opened up for us to do a lot more things that that we weren't able to do before. We were able to go and Hollywood Horror Nights and experience that together and have fun versus horror movies, which felt before were kind of difficult. So
yeah, and so with that, we just want to, my favorite thing is to enjoy all of this stuff with my best friend, and we thought it would be fun to share it with the world as well.
Yeah, because we will sit around and drink coffee and talk about the movies and the TV shows and all that we do, so why not?
We introduced our son to the idea of how much we see a movie and we go and get some coffee and we talk about it.
Yeah.
So this is us broadcasting our Talking with Coffee.
Basically, yeah. So it's a Cup of Rad. So what a lot of things that have been coming out and all that is that DuckTales Season 2 is going to start again.
I am so excited.
Right?
I loved Season 1.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people found it a little harder to get into because it wasn't the same feel, but this new DuckTales is hilarious. It takes all that fun from Gravity Falls because so many people that worked on that show.
Gravity Falls is amazing.
It's one of the best shows ever.
Ever. got a complete series on
Blu-ray.
And unfortunately, we haven't broken it out yet, but it is a beautiful addition to our collection.
We'll be rewatching that, and we'll probably tell you what we feel about that later on at some point. But a lot of people that worked on DuckTales worked on Gravity Falls, and it has that same humor, those same beats, and it looks like a comic book, like an old comic book, which is really cool. And just the humor in it is fantastic.
I love all the Easter eggs.
Oh yeah, all the old Disney Afternoon stuff. And it's
well, I love the different personalities that they are. I love that the three brothers have their own individual personalities.
Right.
That they aren't just a three-headed character.
Yes, that's one thing.
And our son has commented that he really appreciates that because he can relate to the different characters.
Aspects to all of them, right?
Aspects, yeah.
You got the junior woodchuck, you got the overachiever, and you got the slacker.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see, Louis.
He can see the good and bad in each one of them and how they work together, and
right?
You can't ask for anything better than that.
Right? So. Yeah. One of my favorite episodes was a golf one, actually, and it dealt with the Kelpies. Murder ponies. Come to the sea with us. Just ride on our back.
We're definitely not taking you to your watery grave. Huge My Little Pony fan over here, so having Tara Strong and it was Fluttershy and Twilight Sparkle essentially as the what we call murder ponies there. So
they were murder ponies.
They were, and that was great. One of my
there's even the Shining reference in that one too, which was pretty awesome.
But I loved the Gummy Bear episode.
Yeah.
Because Gummy Bears was one of my favorite shows growing up, and it was hilarious that they brought it in.
Your army is going to be jumping
here and there
and everywhere, causing mass destruction beyond compare.
So that was really fantastic. So I'm very excited for the next season.
It'll be very exciting to see where they go with that, because it ended with a very interesting change. If you haven't watched it, definitely go check it out, because it is a fun series. You definitely can laugh as an adult and as a child.
Yeah.
So our son has broken out full on laughter, which is very hard actually for him to cackle.
Yes.
So
that's a great addition to our weekend cartoons.
Yeah, they also got greenlit for season 3, which is pretty cool to see. So definitely continue to watch that show because it's super fun. The other thing that actually dropped today, so we're not too far behind on this one, is the second look of Hellboy. They dropped a poster with the new release date of April, and it looks badass.
Yeah.
You've got the makeup on it and the effects that they put on that, and the fact that he's got the tiny yellow little eyes, the black circles. It looks very comic.
Yeah. Well, you're such a massive comic fan of that universe.
Oh yeah, the Hellboy, the whole Mike Mignola universe is one of my favorite ones. I really find that that style, the dark shadows and all that, it's just fantastic. And I like the occult and the supernatural feel that the book gives, and it's such a fantastic book all around.
I'm excited to see how they try to portray that in the movie.
Yeah. Because the original was much more fantasy based.
Yes.
Feels it's more of the grand Hollywood style.
So I'm interested to see if they, I know everyone's kind of going nuts about the long horns and everything, but it definitely gives an epic, as Mike described it, badass look. But hopefully they stay true to the comics, and
I'm hoping we won't see too. I know it's supposed to be an R rating, but I'm hoping it won't get too dark, because
I'm hoping that the R rating is more of the occult.
Yeah, the spooky nature and the actual horror of it, not.
Or maybe some of the different characters that are a little bit more grotesque. And those types of things.
I hope Hellboy's not dropping F-bombs and all that, because that's not his deal. Crap was about the dirtiest thing he said in those books.
Yeah, we don't need to have language for it.
But so those are a couple things that we're really excited about. Okay, so one thing about being fans of movies is trailers, and a lot have dropped. But you know what? We're gonna just skip over any of the ones that we don't really find that interesting, and we're just gonna talk about 3 right now that are coming up that are ones that we're interested in. First off is gonna be Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
I'm so excited for this movie.
Right?
Our whole family is massive Wizarding World fans, and I'm very excited. I love the imaginative world that they've created with Fantastic Beasts, and I'm excited.
It really
to see.
expands the mythology.
Yeah, I like the Harry Potter universe, but just having a different take on it is really interesting. And I love all the creatures they've created. And
seeing the beasts in the world really expand it into something that's a little different, which is really fun to see, right?
A different time frame, a different location. It's completely different feel to it.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how it's going to build up into the whole thing, because I have no idea where the total of 5 films are going to end. But it'll be very interesting to see for sure.
So overall, very excited for that.
Yeah.
We already got some pops for it.
Which is on our Instagram account. So you get to see those if you go over to Cup of Rad on Instagram. So.
And next up, Mary Poppins Returns. I am excited about this last trailer that dropped.
It gave a better feel for what's going to happen in the movie. The first one was a little more depressing. This one had more hope to it, even though Mary Poppins seems a little more bitter almost.
Yeah, I think I was happy to see, I like the original Mary Poppins. I would not have wanted them to redo it at all, though, so I like that it's just an extension to it. And I think it's bringing it to a different light, new group of people in a new way, but without treading on the original and saying it didn't exist or anything.
Yeah, the sequel feel.
What sold me for this last trailer was the animated sequence.
Yep.
I got super excited with all the flowers flying off the plate.
It's more whimsical.
Yeah, and don't forget about the penguins.
The penguins, gotta love the penguins.
Very excited for the penguins. And that really sold me on it. I'm excited to see it.
So Captain Marvel.
I am very excited for that.
Right. I like the trailer. I thought the trailer did a great job of creating some mystery behind what's going on. We know that the movie's going to take place somewhere in the past, mid-90s. And you know what? I don't think I need much more. We saw that she's going to go through a transformation from what looks like a standard military style alien suit to her classic kind of red color and all that. And, I'm excited.
I want the movie to tell me what happens.
Yeah, I want to sit there for the 2 hours and enjoy that. The trailer
grabbed me just enough to be able to say what's going on.
Yeah.
I want to know how they move throughout that storyline. I read the graphic novel, and I'm not going to pretend to know everything about it, because seriously, her whole history is so convoluted.
She goes through so many incarnations.
So I think it's going to be difficult for this movie to really make fans of it happy, because you don't know what fan they are of. I know what I'm a fan of, and I'm excited to see the transition on how they handle it, and see, let's be honest, it's the Marvel Universe version of it.
The cinematic.
The cinematic, exactly. So if they make an interesting movie with the characters they have created already in their universe, and they stick with the same quality that they have really done well at improving and in having some good heart, some good drama, some good humor into it too. You know what? What else could you ask for? And she looks like a superhero. She looks like a badass, and she's all glowing, and she has all her energy powers.
Her helmet and mohawk.
Yeah. What else could you ask for?
Yeah.
So.
I'm excited. I'm in. I don't really even need another trailer, because I think, why bother? We'll just see too much.
Yeah, I'm done with the
4 trailers, 6 this.
Way too much information.
Yeah, the mystique behind it has me excited for Captain Marvel, and I'm pretty much any Marvel movie, I know we're gonna see it. So
yeah, that's true. So.
Okay, so we're going to do movie reviews, and movie reviews need a rating system, right? So we're going to do a scale of 0 to 5.
How much a movie fills our
Cup of Rad. So 0 is going to be no rad. The cup's empty.
It's sad. It's a sad world.
Yeah. 1, insufficiently rad. Yeah, it was there, but it wasn't rad enough. 2, slightly rad. And then 3, rad. Simple, right? And then we have 4, very rad. And then we'll get to 5, and 5 is totally rad. So it's nice and simple. I'm usually not a huge fan of rating systems because it can be difficult because it's very subjective to everyone. And remember, it's always one's own opinion. It doesn't mean they're right, doesn't mean they're wrong. It just means what they felt when they watched the movie, you know. So that's something that we're going to incorporate. We'll put that on our social media as well, and we'll have our little coffee cups filling with rad for when we do our movie reviews. We're behind, so we're going to do a little bit of a retrospect on the movies that we did see this month. We didn't really go to the theaters that much in September.
Month, technically.
Yeah, last month. In September, we didn't really go to the movies a whole lot, but we did go see a couple films. And one of the films that Katie and I saw was The Nun.
Creepy.
It was a very creepy film. It had a great ambiance. I found that it was creepy. You know, there was some really great scenes in the sets, and the scenes that they portrayed in the film were excellent.
I liked the suspense, and I liked how pretty it was.
Yes.
The crispness, if I could speak, of the dark shadows and the use of the entire room, not just the character that you're focusing on.
Yeah.
It was, you know, what's behind the character, what's next to the character.
Yeah, you found yourself watching other places to see what was there.
The whole screen, and I thought that was really interesting. It wasn't just a one focus and then all of a sudden something jumps out at you. Mm-hmm. It was is something going to jump out?
Yeah.
And then sometimes it didn't.
Yeah.
And it made you question what you were seeing. Be worried about.
Yeah. That's one thing I found James Wan has really done with the Conjuring series is he's taken the paranormal back from Paranormal Activity and that grainy kind of just ick look, and made pretty looking films. I really enjoy cinematic quality when it sounds funny to say, but for a horror film.
Yeah,
but,
why not?
But that really draws me in, being able to have those tones and the colors and that feel. And The Nun really had that, that look to it. It had the old film quality. It really felt like a little bit like an old Gothic film.
Yeah.
The moat of crosses.
And the hallway of crosses.
The hallway of crosses were just brilliant.
Well, I found that horror movies, as I've gotten into them over the last few years, I finally broke down and said, okay, Mike, I'll listen to them and watch them, and found out that I really do enjoy them. And the ones that freak me out the most are the ones that I kind of feel could be real. And this is one of those ones where, you know what, we can't say that it's not real.
Yeah, they rooted a lot of the mythology feel.
Real. And so
which
when
is
you
kind
see
of cool.
the giant moats of crosses, then you feel like, wow, the church really believes something was horrific here, and it's a whole new level of scary.
Right? It was terrifying.
So I think I liked the twist of the story. I liked as it progressed on. The ending was a little...
That's where it kind of lost me a little bit. It added a little more humor to it.
Yeah.
And it got a little too grand for how the rest of the film felt.
Oh yeah, it was a little too much over the simplicity of it.
It kind of went from being this simplistic story that was really creepy, and then it became very almost Hollywood. I guess to use that term, where it just became suddenly grand and almost action set, right? Kind of like the late 2000 action where you got to see, which it didn't destroy the movie for me. I'm excited to watch it again. Yeah, I am gladly add it to my collection of movies to watch. But I felt that it didn't exceed much more than what the trailer showed us.
So, Mike, what would you say it fills your cup of rad to?
I would say that the film was rad.
Okay, I agree.
So, those at home keeping score, 3 out of 5.
So yeah, it was enjoyable. I'll definitely watch it again.
Yeah,
but it didn't absolutely blow me out of the water.
Exactly.
So. Next that we saw last month was The House with a Clock in Its Walls.
Jack Black, Kate Blanchett.
We got to share with our son.
Yeah.
He was excited about it from the very beginning, the first trailer way back when.
Yeah, the moment he saw that trailer, it was, I must see that film.
Yes, I remember, and I was like, what is this?
And especially
Eli Roth?
when that happened, I told Katie it was Eli Roth, she was just like, wait, what are you showing, Abe?
Yeah, I definitely was worried about it, and when he showed me the trailer, I was excited about it. I was like, yeah, we'll definitely see that. I enjoyed the movie way more than I even thought I would.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was silly. but it wasn't too silly. It wasn't.
It had a good amount of suspense and
yeah, it still had that. It still had that kind of that intro to horror for a child in that under 10 kind of feel.
Yeah.
You know, especially for kids that maybe aren't already trying to explore that realm and they're still a little scared. Well, this had that kind of, you know, hey, it's still okay to be a kid at that age, but still there's some creepy stuff. It was kind of like the finding based off an old novel, so it's finding an old novel of a ghost story feel.
Yeah, and I like the character, embracing taking a tragic event and finding something positive out of it, learning how to deal with those consequences of choices that you make, finding something new and strange, embracing your weirdness.
Yeah, definitely embracing your weirdness, and that's Jack
one of my favorite messages.
Yeah, Jack Black did a great job at showing that, you know what, you can be weird, but still be good at what you do.
And Jack Black is someone who
hit and miss.
Yeah, hit and miss, and I was just going to be open with it, and I really did enjoy him in this because he had a perfect mix of the funny, but he had some good heart and some good control. He had a lot more heart in his performance than I've seen in a while from him. Blanchett was wonderful. I'm really enjoying her. I loved her in Thor Ragnarok, and Mike's got a new woman crush.
The purple was fantastic.
Mike's favorite color is purple.
So, you know, it worked.
So, yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. So, for me, I would say that it was very rad.
I would agree. It was a very rad film. Definitely something I can expect us to put on our regular rotation once it hits disc. So
yes, definitely. So, and I know our son really enjoyed it as well.
He's already asked to go see it again, which is really cool because he very rarely asks to see a film again.
Yes, that is true.
So
yeah, that was excellent. And now for the next segment that discusses rewatching older movies and asking, do they live up to the rad expectations of our first viewings?
And it is called Radnesia.
I love it. So first up on our Radnesia,
so rad,
is Poltergeist.
Poltergeist, yes. For me, this was Radnesia.
For me, it was brand new.
So,
Mike's still finding movies that I haven't seen, and he looks at me like I am crazy and uncultured.
Well, I grew up.
Which I am. I'm not gonna lie.
I grew up with the video store that was the 5 for $5, and you just go in and you'd load up. I did not have cable. I barely had any television at all, so I watched a lot of movies. And when you start going through the video store, you just start picking up everything. So I watched a lot of good movies, a lot of bad movies, and a lot of ones I want to forget. So, but
Poltergeist is a good classic horror movie.
Yeah,
and I'm glad I got to experience it.
Yeah, it was a lot tamer than I remembered, except for the one scene where the dude peels off his face. The rest of the movie feels pretty much PG.
Which is sad for me to say that it scared me so much more than I possibly thought it should have.
Yeah, she was terrified. She cringed.
But you know what? A lot of it, I felt kind of like, we're kind of simplified and bored. And then there was the moments like the clown where I climbed up onto the couch and instantly adrenaline overheating. It was horrible, and I was like, what is going on? This is so weird. And I don't know if it was mainly because it's been a year since I watched horror movies, because we hadn't watched it since last October, and I was totally I don't know. I don't understand it, but
I think it was a little bit of the unknown. It was a little more of because it was a simpler story. I think that really.
Well, and I know that I had the false sense that it was done.
Yeah.
And I didn't really pay attention to the timing for it.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh yeah, everything's great. Everything's.
Well, I was sitting there going. All of a
sudden the clown shows up, and it was just like, where did that come from?
Well, I was sitting there going, wait, I thought there was more with the clown. Why? Where did the clown go? Why am I tripping? Why do I remember a clown, but I didn't remember a face peeling off? What's going on? So
yeah, for you, well, it shows then that you must have watched it last.
I probably watched the TV
Some
version,
sort of TV edited version.
Yeah, they probably removed that and the meat exploding with the maggoty things and all that. So, yeah. So
Mike, what do you say then? Rewatching it, since this is Radnesia for you too. How much is your cup of rad filled?
I would go with slightly rad.
Okay, so a 2?
2, yeah.
2 out of the 5 there?
Yeah, because it felt dated. It didn't give me the same awe as I remember, and the creeper factor. It was a bit more of like, okay, yeah, I know how that effect works, or I know how that works. And now, there was some really cool set pieces when I laugh, but it brings me to my like bubblegum creepy kind of thing that I got going on, that I love skeletons. So when the coffins and all that pop up from the ground, I love it, but you watch it.
I like that storyline though.
Yeah.
I love that they all just started showing up.
Yeah.
Like randomly. It was
everywhere.
You had to laugh at it, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely. It was a slightly rad film. It's definitely a classic. If you haven't seen it, check it out. If you have, it's just, yeah.
And then the next one that we watched recently, we shared with our son because he'd been asking about it, was the live action original Hellboy.
Yeah, we broke down and we watched that. Honestly, it's nothing different from any Marvel film that he's seen.
I forgot how old it was, though.
Yeah.
It really held up for time, quite honestly.
Yeah, there was only a few areas where the effects were a little hinky, that you could tell it was changed, but the makeup and all that was still pretty good in the old Hellboy.
Yeah.
I still dig it,
It wasn't like, oh wow, that guy's wearing a giant red suit,
right?
As a parent.
So I still really like the film, even though it's more fantasy-based horror than what the comics are. I think it's still a fun film. I'm not a big fan of how Abe is portrayed in the film. He's portrayed more psychic and all that, where he's more of a field agent. He feels more useful in the comic books, not so much in the movie.
Well,
he seems
right
a little
now,
weak.
Too, you can't share the graphic novels and the comics with our son, so being able to share this movie with him finally was enjoyable.
Yeah, he was instantly wanting to ask. He asked about the second one. So
it's always good.
We'll definitely want to
we'll
check that out. And I want to show him the animated ones because Abe has a big role in the animated films. As well. So I think that'll be really interesting to see.
I don't remember watching them, so that'll be some fun to get a different feel and a different.
Yeah, and it's got Ron Perlman as the voice of Hellboy in the animated, so that was really cool. But how much did your cup of rad get filled?
You know what? Honestly, for the fact that it was still really fun even after all these years, I would say it was very rad.
Nice. I would agree. I still would watch the film. It's a very rad film. The sets and the makeup and all that, and Ron Perlman's performance is fantastic.
Yeah. I'm excited. He's actually at Vancouver Fan Expo.
Yeah,
coming
which
up in
a couple weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks there, and so it'll be interesting to see if we can meet him and then introduce our son to him and be like, yeah, wow, this is Hellboy.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping we'll be able to do.
It's good timing to be able to watch the movie.
Right, right. So I'm excited to be able to show him that, and so.
And this has been
Radnesia. So rad. So what have we been watching on TV besides movies?
We've been watching a few things.
Yeah.
Mike, you've been trying out a new cartoon.
Yeah, I have been trying out The Rise of the TMNT, or The Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Nickelodeon's new cartoon based on the TMNT. It's kind of different compared to what we had from Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I really loved the 2012 Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that was almost, in my opinion, a perfect series for the characters.
And I'm really stuck on it.
Yeah.
And as a fan, I have not been able to let go of how wonderful it was.
Well,
full disclosure on that one.
Both Katie and her son have checked out. Our son does not want to watch this new one. He watched the first episode with us, and he told me it hurt his eyes.
I wonder, though, sometimes he will gravitate to one of us, following one of us.
Yeah.
So, I know a lot of the times you guys share so much time watching those cartoons. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if I sat down and said, yeah, we're going to watch this on Sunday morning here, if he'd be like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, maybe.
But you never know. I still got to get over it.
I'm not a big fan of some of the designs in it. The 2D animation is bright and colorful. It really feels like they're going for the Teen Titans Go vibe. The episodes are about 15 minutes long. The few episodes I've watched, the premiere episode was the one I disliked. The other 2 episodes, I found myself enjoying. I didn't laugh.
Well, you've been talking about it and telling me about what actually happened, and it sounded interesting when you talked about it.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was fun. Unlike, say, Teen Titans Go, which is hilarious in my opinion, the Turtles doesn't feel like it's self-aware. Teen Titans Go is self-aware. It makes fun of itself. It makes fun of the entire subculture and main culture and everything.
Nothing is safe.
Yeah. Where the Turtles kind of feels like, well, we want the bombastic craziness of the Teen Titans Go, but we want to keep it episodic and we want to keep telling a story that is cohesive to the episode that came before it in some form.
Following after the 2012 Turtles there, that was such a rich story that
well, you had
really
episodes.
cared about.
Yeah, you had
It was
episodes.
deep.
Yeah, you had episodes that went on for the entire season.
Right.
That connected together. Where this here, where I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it enough to be curious to look at the figures. Which when I first saw this stuff, I was like, no way in hell am I going to do it. Raph and Mikey are more of the standout characters for me, which is kind of sad because Donnie's my dude. I still love Raph because original, cartoon, Raph was more my thing. And so
it has nothing to do with Rob Paulson.
Not at all. But
Total fandom interjection. The Rob Paulson. He is a childhood hero.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's in everything. If you think about it, when you look back at all the cartoons that you watched, you can probably guarantee that Rob Paulson was in it.
Oh, it's a game now for us. We'll watch something. I'm like, hey, Mike.
Where's the Paulson?
Where's Rob Paulson? Okay, yep, that's Rob.
Right? You got.
And
yeah,
he's in everything. And a fun fact though is we for a while were doing a lot of trips down to SoCal. And we ran into Rob Paulson at a Starbucks.
Yep.
Down the street from the Nickelodeon studios.
Yep. We were leaving from a trip at Universal and we were in Starbucks and I was looking and I was like, that dude looks like way too familiar. And I went over to Katie and I was like, I think that is actually Rob Paulson. And
I'm so proud of myself that I said,
yeah,
you know what? I'm gonna be forward, which is totally not like me.
Yep.
But I was never.
Well, I didn't want to be that guy. He's waiting for his coffee and I didn't want to be like.
Mike would never forgive himself and I would never. And like, no, it would have been haunting him.
Right.
So I walked up to him and I'm like, hey, you know what? By any chance, are you Rob Paulson? And he said yes. And my heart just, did somersaults. I was like, I went and grabbed Mike and I have never, ever, ever seen this man smile so big.
I don't smile.
No,
I'm all grim. I'm dark.
Maybe we'll have to find that
This
picture.
This is the dark ages.
Post that for you. And then let's see what later on that year we met him at the Fan
Expo in Vancouver. And it was hilarious because he remembered us in a good way. Well,
because it was such a different experience. My son was actually really a positive interaction with him when we were down there in Burbank, and I have purple hair.
Yeah, that helped.
So it's two wonderful experiences.
Yeah, he's a great man. If you ever chance to meet him, definitely take the opportunity. He voiced Raphael in the original Turtles. He was Arthur in the Tick, Yakko from Animaniacs, Pinky from Pinky and the Brain, Carl from Jimmy Neutron.
I love that cartoon.
Then he got to do Donnie again. And now he's actually the voice director on Rise of the TMNT. And he's done stuff in Batman. He's everywhere.
Yeah, it really is. It's a good cartoon. Rob Paulson's bound to have been some part in it.
Right, and so
definitely a wonderful man, and it was a great experience for us, for sure. So,
yeah.
But anyways, a tangent on that one, but just the turtle love.
So
that was just a perfect part of the 2012 Turtles was a childhood hero of yours, voicing your favorite turtle.
And
in such a wonderful way.
Yeah, and he made Donnie way better than ever. So that's why I'm having a little harder time gravitating towards this new Donatello, because whereas 2012 Donnie, all his gadgets look crude, but they worked. This new Donnie, everything is very polished and high-tech looking, but it doesn't work, and I'm having a hard time with that. But as I say, Raph, I enjoy Raph. Mikey's pretty fun in this. He's not as good as Greg Sipes, Mikey, but I don't think anyone could be better than Greg.
No, he is Mikey.
But definitely, you know what, give it a go. You know, see how it is. Let us know what you think if you do watch it. I'm going to keep watching it, see how it is. I might end up buying some toys if I can get back my big old blue eyes at Katie here. And then you can check those out. So that'll be fun. So
Next up is Horror Story Apocalypse. Mike's been watching Horror Story from the very beginning.
Yep.
I kind of slowly joined in, watching it in the background as I worked from home, and then have been watching the last few seasons with him directly. And after last season, we were
I was a little worried, you know. I've been pretty forgiving for American Horror Story because I've just kind of loved the fact that we're actually seeing a horror story on network television, not on some extra pay TV format. And I liked a lot of the seasons that a lot of people hadn't, just because, you know, I can see what they're doing. They're trying to hit a lot of genres. Every season is based on a different genre of horror.
Well, the fact, horror is not just one thing, and it's everyone likes a different style.
Exactly, and I think that's where it kind of hits its stride for where people can dislike a season, and, you know, but last season Cult really wasn't my favorite. That was probably
too topical.
It was
It wasn't enough horror. It was more of just it was trying to make a statement about something.
Yeah, and so moving past that, when they announced that it was Apocalypse, I was a little worried that it was going to be too tied into it.
That it was going to come right after it.
Yeah, but at least then when they announced that it's going to deal with Murder House and Coven, I felt a little more into it for sure.
I think it grabbed us from the very beginning. Yeah. It was just like, wow, the episode's already done. Yeah. And they already did this much stuff. Yep. I think Cult dragged on a little bit.
Yep, there's been, the last few seasons, everything kind of dragged on a little bit.
Yeah,
this season, we're 3 episodes into it so far, and it's, for better terms, it's bananas. You know, it's just...
the last season, the last episode we watched was just like, what? Did they really just do that?
They took a complete turn with basically killing everyone off.
Yeah, so it's interesting. That's how I'm assuming they're going to work through the different connections is you know, because we knew some of those main characters played multiple characters
in it. Yeah,
and I was curious how that was going to follow suit. So
you know, it's so far this season's been really interesting. I haven't really felt it dragging at all, like some seasons have.
Well, it's gotten to that, we know we can judge our enjoyment of something if we feel like we have to watch something or if we want to watch something.
Exactly.
And like Cult was something where, we have to watch that. It's just recorded. This time it's like, Horror Story's on. We got to watch this.
Yeah, we've been very excited about this one. I'm curious to see where the witches, because they've just shown up. So this week here, episode 4 will deal directly with the Coven coming back.
Yeah, so, and that was a season that I watched kind of in the background, so I know there's going to be like, hey Mike, what's this going on? I don't understand that reference.
So I'll make stuff up.
Yeah, thanks Mike. But I'll catch on right
now. But yeah, no, you know, everything's been pretty solid in it. I like, you know, where they're going so far. I like that it's all tied back to Langdon, you know, and that's going to be an interesting, you know, seeing as he's supposed to be the Antichrist.
He plays the character really well.
Yeah.
You know, it's that mix of you like him, but you know he's evil.
Yeah.
And so you don't know really what his deal is.
Right. So I'm excited. You know, we'll see where it goes. I hope it doesn't jump the shark too much later on, because sometimes the seasons have had a tendency to do that. But kind of going with how weird and dark they got, you know, with murdering everyone off in that last episode, I'm excited. Staying on the horror vibe, The Purge, the TV show.
We were excited that we could watch it on Amazon up here in Canada. So it was a bonus that we didn't think we'd get to watch it.
Yeah, we were looking all over for it, and it was like, it wasn't here. And then one day it popped up on my Twitter and was like, oh, sweet, it's on Amazon.
Because we were a little late to the party watching The Purge movies. But actually really enjoyed them for what they are, and then we got to experience the
scare zones and the maze and all that.
Universal Horror Nights.
And I really dug those because it's weird.
It was fun. You know, I mean, it's whatever fun you could say for some horrific thing. Let's just add a subtitle note there. And,
right. But I would not purge if I had the chance because I don't see the purpose of it.
That it would help anything.
I like you know, we're American Horror Story got too topical, I like the topicalness that The Purge talks about.
Because
it's kind of a weird mix, I know, but
you know what? The idea of it was almost topical from the beginning, which I think is why it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not clearly topical, rather than just being. It could be any government. It could be anything.
Yeah.
And so with that, watching the Purge TV show, we were interested to see how it would play out.
Yeah.
Mike, what are your thoughts so far on that?
It's slow. It's not as exciting as I had hoped for, and the parts that are more exciting, I want more of, though. The one storyline is my favorite, the Marine that's looking for his sister. I like that because it's showing us the weird and creepy side of the Purge. All the we had the
when
gauntlet.
You add his sister into it, then you're seeing someone who does sympathize with it and wants to believe in the good that the Purge
does
can apparently provide, but you see that she's doing it just to escape her own pain.
Exactly. And we got to see the gauntlet, and that was pretty cool. The reality TV show where the guy had to go through and survive so far.
Commercialization of the Purge.
And now we've gotten to the point where now his sister's stuck in the carnival of flesh.
I was really intrigued by that, because that would happen.
But horrified at the same time.
And it's like you know that it would be something that someone would want to do.
Right.
It would happen if the Purge was a real thing.
Yeah, pay to burn someone alive and
that was totally
draw on them and all that. You see all those things and you're like, damn. And people are paying huge dollars to do this for someone. And it's a complete commercialization of anything in our world.
Yes. And it's just that reminder on how sick and twisted we really can be if we're given the opportunity to be, and just being honest with ourselves. But you know what? It's great because they're showing a lot of different sides of the Purge that would happen. Not just the murder and the horrificness, but the different crimes that would happen, and then how people not just survive but handle different aspects of it. And a lot of the people that helped too. I mean, they had this group of women that were out just saving women from sexual assault and all the different.
That is when the businesswoman storyline picked up for me. The businesswoman storyline for me was dragging because she was all super sad for hiring hit on her boss. And I was like, okay, where's this going? So we're 4 episodes in, it's like, okay, hopefully it's gonna get better. But now she's out in the world, picked up by this group that's supposed to be helping women. So I'm curious to see where it's gonna end up. They picked up.
Hadn't talked about, and you kind of forget about that. You think it's all just gonna be
just murder.
Just be murder, but there's other
everything.
crimes.
Well, it showed grave robbing in the last episode too, right?
Yeah, which was
so it just in the background, just in passing, right? And you're like, wait a minute, all crime is legal. So we,
So yeah, overall, I mean, I'm excited to see. I'm definitely looking forward to continuing it.
It's only 10 episodes, I believe. So
yeah, I mean, it's only 4 hours into the Purge, so there's plenty of room to see how it changes, and I'm interested to see how the Marine sister gets out of the situation,
or if she does.
Yeah, there's that too.
So the one storyline I'm not a big fan of. It's dealing with the money aspect and the founding fathers, and
I could be done with that one anytime now.
The weird romance, 3-way romance that happened, it's dragging on too much.
Like, I see where they came from, wanting to show the connection to the founding fathers and maybe bending of morals for money.
But it just kind of
it's not doing it in an interesting enough way.
I'd rather them focus on the other ones. I would have been okay with an entire season just with the Marine and his looking for his sister.
So
right, I would have been cool with that. So, but we'll keep watching it. Horror on TV is good, right? So.
And then now a complete 180 turn.
Pump the brakes
from the Purge there, and we're gonna move over to My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic.
My Little Pony.
I love the little sound effects that Mike provides.
That wasn't me. That was a completely royalty free file.
And so, I'm a big My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic fan, and I've been watching it from the very beginning. And this season here, last season took me out of it a little bit. I watched it just honestly out of the habit and completionist feel. But since they've gotten away from the main 6 and those real friendship tales, I I've kind of lost interest, but this season is picking up a bit more because
it was a little slow at the beginning.
Yeah, like I've enjoyed the last few. It definitely is not as interesting as it originally was, but because I like some of those bigger epic adventures when they kind of dealt with it all together. Now it's really just two of them at a time, if anything.
It's kind of like the comic book, right? The friendship or the one.
The tales of... Yeah, and because I read the graphic novels, which came out, of course, watching the cartoon, and it's one of my favorite series. I have so many of them, and I am hysterical whenever I read them. And I'm always running over to Mike and be like, look at this Easter egg, and look at this.
The
and
pop
this
culture
hilarious.
references in it is insane.
Yeah, one of my most recent ones was all of a sudden there was the background. Pinkie Pie was doing the aerial, jump up on the rock with the splashing water, and that's one of my favorite scenes from The Little Mermaid, and it was absolutely perfect.
Oh yeah, that was her moment. Like, maybe this is the tattoo I get. My Little Pony and The Little Mermaid mixed together. Hell yeah.
I mean, how could you go wrong with that, right? So that was... I love those Easter eggs within those. It's such a well-written graphic novel, so I think maybe the show not having those same types of quirkiness and
well, you can tell that the comic is made for the adult friends.
Yes, exactly.
Fans.
But overall, I'm still really enjoying it. My son ends up actually watching with me, and so as a parent, there's still honestly really good friendship.
Oh yeah, there's lots of great lessons
and things that we can still be reminded about as adults. So why not enjoy it still and just be like, oh yeah, this is how we're supposed to be nice to each other.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, there's a great message in the, I see it from afar when I'm making your guys' Sunday morning pancakes.
Thank you, we love you.
But the things I hear, and it's a good show. Anyone that decides that they're just going to be a dick about it, they just need to just walk away. Maybe actually sit down, watch an episode, and realize that they could be better people.
Yeah.
Because it's silly. It's bright, colorful, magical ponies. It's supposed to be silly, and there's a good message. So
Well, and one
let
thing
it
that
happen.
is nice about this last, what started out with her school is the message of inclusion for lots of different beings. I think that's a huge point in our world that we could all learn from.
Yeah.
And being able to accept everyone for all their different aspects.
Right.
So overall, I am still really enjoying it. I'm quite a number of episodes behind, just because time is amazing how much it gets away from us on the weekends there. But overall, definitely enjoying.
Okay, so we're coming to the end here of our first podcast. A little bit bigger than maybe some weeks might be. We're kind of going to go on a variable length with this thing.
Well, yeah, it all depends on what's going on.
And what we want to talk about, we got other things we're working on for our podcast. We're hoping to drop one at least weekly to talk about things we've watched, things we've seen, news, things we want to talk about. Also, we're going to look at possibly doing things with character spotlights.
We have so many favorite characters, things that are topical or things that we just want to say like, oh, by the way, these are rad.
Yeah. Share it with y'all. Definitely look for our Instagram, our Twitter, and our Facebook page. On those pages, we'll also share some other news that maybe we don't touch on during our podcast or our collection. Instagram is going to be the best place to look for that. It's Cup of Rad on there, and you're going to find a lot of fun things.
Yeah, we're going to talk about our recent purchases. Like we mentioned earlier, our Fantastic Beast Pops that we have going on.
Yeah.
We just got the 90th Mickey's.
Yeah, we got 12 of those, so I got to start taking some photos of those because it's a lot.
My new favorite addition is the Hocus Pocus Pops.
The Sanderson sisters.
I was very, very excited to get that exclusive there.
Spirit exclusive.
Was wonderful.
Yeah.
So that was a huge thing for me to be able to get.
Yeah, so watch our Instagram for those photos of the different collection. It's going to be pretty much anything that's from our collection. One day you might see something pink and sparkly. The next thing you might see something from the darker side of the collection. Yeah, so...
Well, we have a nice theme going on, so check out Instagram. You can see what our different themes are going to be.
Yeah, so every single day of the week is going to be something different too.
Yes.
We're going to try to
keep checking back.
Yeah, because we're going to it'll be, just check it out because every day's got a little bit of a theme. All right. Well, thank you for listening today. It's been fun talking about these things, and I can't wait to share more with you on this journey. And hopefully we're going to fill that cup with rad and make you have a great day and smile.
Thank you for listening. Love this episode of Cup of Rad? Please subscribe, rate us, and give us a review. Also, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more rad content.